مساء الخير أعزائي المشاهدين. حلقة جديدة من برنامج مصدر ثقة، والنهاردة حلقة مختلفة جدا. اتعودتوا ان احنا يبقى معانا سيناتورز وكونجرسمان من كاليفورنيا وبتفرحوا قوي بالحلقات دي. النهاردة هي حلقة كلنا مش بس نفرح بيها، كمان نبقى فخورين جدا بيها. النهاردة معانا أول مصري قبطي سيناتور في نيوجيرسي. حقيقي الفرحة فعلا ملياني، يعني أنا فعلا فرحانة جدا جدا إن أنا النهاردة بعمل اللقاء ده. معايا النهاردة السيناتور جورج حلمي. أهلا بيك يا سيناتور.
Thank you for having me, Dاليا.
Thank you. هنحاول إنجليزي دلوقتي.
Please.
Okay. So today I have the great honor of speaking with Senator George Helmy, who has recently made history as the first Egyptian Coptic senator to represent New Jersey in the U.S. Senate. Senator Helmy's journey is not only a remarkable story of personal achievement, but also a testament of achievement of the American dream. Senator Helmy, welcome to my show.
Thank you so much for having me. This is such a pleasure and an honor for me.
Oh, it's an honor for me, and I'm so proud.
Thank you.
I'm sitting here in front of the first Coptic senator.
Thank you.
It's
an achievement to just pick up where you said something, Dali. I want to say this early on. It's an achievement for the community.
Yes.
I am a result of the service and the labor and the blood and the sweat and the tears of generations past. Mm-hmm. And as you and I were talking, I grew up just a few blocks from here. Mm-hmm. And the faith and the service that the church put in me, this is, I think, an achievement from our community. So thank you for having me.
We're so proud of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start by introducing yourself.
Yeah.
As Senator George Helmy and as George Helmy.
Yeah. أنا ابن سمير وتوتي. I grew up down the street here in Jersey City.
Okay.
My parents left the country they loved in the late 70s, and I was born shortly after. I'm a son of West Side Church with Owen Gabriel, God rest his soul. And the church raised me. I was raised in the church. Like most Coptics, my social fabric, who I was formed in the church. All my friends were from the church growing up. I had great friends in my public schools, but my core group of friends then, and frankly now, Dálya, my core group of friends are my Coptic Egyptian friends. Oh. And, so we moved from Jersey City shortly after my brother was born. And I went to one of the best public school systems in New Jersey. Mm-hmm. And then I got to go to great institutions of higher education in Rutgers and Harvard. Oh, wow. And, when I talk about the church helping form us, my story is a story of learning the importance of service mm-hmm. as a part of who we are as Coptics.
Yes.
And you're serving in the church, you're serving your community, you're serving through your faith and in your faith. But the faith calls for so much more. Mm-hmm. And how do you serve your fellow man, regardless of whether they are Coptic or not, they agree with you or not? And that was my entryway into public service, because I felt that in this democracy, you could do tremendous things mm-hmm. through the institutions that are our government institutions, whether they be local councils, state houses, or the United States Senate, where I get to serve for this short period. But when you say who I am, mm-hmm. what defines me the most is I'm a Coptic father and husband of an incredible wife that I don't deserve, and two sons, Joshua and Elijah. And that's the most important thing when people say, introduce yourself. Yeah. That's what I say. I'm a father and a husband, and everything else is secondary.
God bless you. God bless you and bless your family too.
Thank you.
So, Senator, as the first Egyptian Coptic senator, your heritage a unique and important part of your identity. How has your background influenced your journey in public service?
Yeah, it's a really important question. My heritage, both as an Egyptian and as a Copt, it informs everything I do, right? It's sort of the foundation of who I am. And that growing up in the church and understanding that there is a code by how we carry ourselves and how we live by. And that's not to say, Dálya, that I'm perfect or any of us are perfect. I'm a deeply flawed human being, as many of us are. But we understand the type of life we're supposed to live, the type of life we're supposed to exemplify to other people. Mm-hmm. And in that example that we're supposed to set as service. And as I was saying before in the last question is, the church really informed what was I doing in this short journey of the years that were given on this earth, whether they be few or many. And so, when I was a young man, I served at food pantries, or I tried to help in different ways that I found were the continuance of my faith and the service that the faith calls. And I think just in sort of the Egyptian culture, that spirit of giving and that spirits of warmness and that welcoming others to your table, and that led me to public service. And I was so fortunate to meet Senator Frank Lautenberg when I was a young man, and he showed me the power of service and what you can achieve through service. And then from there, I was able to move up the ranks in another Senate office. And so, who we are as Copts is who we are, and it defines the very fabric. It is the cloth that we are cut from, and we can't be something different. And it has informed not just my career, it has informed every aspect of my life.
Okay, I asked you this question before, and I will ask now so the audience can hear. What was your dream job?
My dream job was to be chief of staff to the governor of New Jersey. And the reason for that is New Jersey has the most powerful governorship in the country. The governor appoints the majority of the cabinet and has awesome authority over what the executive branch does. And in the executive branch, unlike the legislature where I sit now in the United States Senate, look, the United States Senate is the greatest deliberative body in the world. And I'm one of 100, which is it's an incredible honor, incredible privilege, and incredibly influential. But to serve in the governorship, you're able to create change and effectuate action and activity much quicker. And so to be the man behind the man or woman, to be the man who was behind the curtain, giving best counsel and helping instruct what we were going to do, or be on the implementation side, I love the pace of that, and I love the immediacy of it. Because you could really change lives at that moment. And in my 5 years serving as Governor Murphy's chief of staff, we did incredibly good work that in my heart, I feel will not only impact the generation now, the kids growing up where I grew up just a few blocks from here, but hopefully generations of young Copts and young Americans to come.
Okay. Thank you, Senator. So, Senator, what has the transition from being Governor Murphy's chief of staff to you as senators been like?
Well, you know what I always say, Egyptians only know one way, and we work very hard and we work very fast, and we want to see action right away. That's in our culture. It's in our fabric.
Yes.
There's no relaxing or take it easy or take it slow. So for me, that's the way I worked when I was chief of staff. Let's keep moving. Let's keep doing things. Let's keep advancing. The sports proverb or the sports example is, keep moving the ball down the field. And so, as I said, Dاليا, I had been a staffer for two United States senators, Senator Lautenberg, God rest his soul, and Senator Cory Booker, who's now my senior senator. And so I had done the work behind the scenes to sort of prepare the senator for many years. So I knew the job.
Yeah.
And then having been a chief of staff to a governor, you're as close to being a principal as possible. And so while it's been humbling and it's been an incredible experience to represent New Jersey as one of two United States senators for the entire state, the transition wasn't all that difficult because, as the governor said when he appointed me, I had all the right tools in the toolbox already. It wasn't easy because the job is so incredibly hard. And one day you're debating the Israel-Gaza issue, the next day you're debating tax policy, and you have to be substantive on all of these things. So I have an incredible team with me. And I know that your daughter also was interning and working on the Hill. So you rely on these people so much. So the transition was difficult, but I felt very well prepared for it.
Yeah, you're the right person.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, so I know you recently talked about the importance of youth mental health. Can you share with us why this issue is so close to your heart, and what steps do you believe need to be taken to make sure young people get the support they need?
Yeah. Thank you for that question. Like you, I have, children. Yeah. Mine are 15 and 12. And, growing up is much harder than it was when I was a kid. They have, they're exposed to so much more at an early age as they physically and mentally develop. They're exposed to things earlier. They have access to stuff on cell phones that I never saw at that age.
Yes.
And as parents, you don't always know what's penetrating them in terms of what they can see on screens or what they can read or see on TV. And so, and I see the challenges during COVID and post-COVID on some of these young people.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was not only are we studying and looking at the inputs to the growing mental health crisis, and this isn't something I think there's a mental health crisis. No, you look at the data, more young women are creating suicide plans. Our hospitals are seeing tremendous increases, nearly 100% increases over a certain number of years of kids who are coming into the hospital because they hurt themselves.
Yes.
So we see in the data that we have a problem, and I want to better understand the causes and hold those who are part of the cause responsible.
Good.
But on also the accessibility side, too many of our young people, specifically in our rural or urban areas, don't have access to a qualified professional.
Right.
So for me, it really comes from seeing what my own children are exposed to.
Good.
Being in positions where I've been able to work in the United States Senate and in the halls of Trenton in the State House to really look at the data and know that there is a serious problem. And it's not just in New Jersey. It's all across the country. The data is the same.
Right. And
something has to be done about it. And what I found in Washington is there's already a bipartisan movement on this. And I come from a place of, I'm not there just to talk. I say what I believe and you say what you believe and nothing gets done. I would rather find areas where I can agree with you and say, okay, how can we start really moving? Yeah. What's the solution? Let's not stop talking and start doing.
Yes.
And so I found on youth mental health, not only did I care about it, not only did I believe in the data required our attention, but that there was already bipartisanship that we could move the ball and actually get something done. So I've been so fortunate to work with people like John Fetterman from Pennsylvania, a very strong Democrat, and Katie Britt from Alabama, a very strong Republican, all who have stood with me on many bills that we've introduced. And I'm hopeful, maybe not while I'm still there, because things take a long time in Washington, but I'm hopeful. You know, we always say this in the Arabic culture is you start something that somebody's going to carry.
Yeah.
Right. You don't always have to finish everything, but like you have to start something so someone else can pick it up and take it.
Yes.
And so I've been very fortunate to pick up something that I think people see as a real problem and that there's already bipartisan movement on it in Washington. And I'm hopeful that on both ends of the equation, what's the cause and how do we make sure that the kids have somebody they can talk to and seek the help they need.
Thank you so much, Senator. Yeah, this is a very important issue. Actually, we are all facing as parents even these days.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's a great point. And parents don't have the tools or the knowledge of where to go. That's right.
Yeah, especially as an Arabic community. The parents in our community, they are here just working to pay their bills, but they don't have any time. They don't have the knowledge to know what's going on in their kids' lives.
That's right.
Yeah,
it's such a great point, and especially in immigrant communities like ours, where parents don't know what their kids may be exposed to on the screens.
Yes.
And life is so busy that sometimes parents, when they come home from work, they just need a break, and the kid is on the screen, and they don't know that TikTok or all these algorithms that are purposefully targeting our kids.
Exactly.
And they're getting to this endless advertising cycle that has impact. And you're seeing, Dاليا, thank you for raising that. You're seeing Republican and Democratic attorney generals now go after some of these firms, including our Attorney General Matthew Plackett in New Jersey, but also the Republican Attorney General in Arkansas. So again, you're seeing bipartisan support, even from a law enforcement perspective, that we have to do something on this.
Oh, yeah. They have to take an action.
Yes.
Thank you, Senator, for that one too. So what advice would you give to the Coptic youth?
Advice to the Coptic youth.
Yes.
Get involved. Get involved. Get involved. It doesn't have to be in politics, but get involved. We have such a strong community. Our community is incredibly influential. We are very well educated, and we have the influence and affluence to make an impact, regardless of what side of the aisle you are on. But get involved. You know, too often I would hear from, colleagues or other, and this is really among a number of minority communities, but specifically in the Coptic community, that, our voice isn't heard. Well, I'm here as the first Coptic United States Senator to say your voice can be heard very loudly. But as a community, we have to organize. And we have to use our numbers and our growing influence to actually influence the decisions elected officials are making. This is just it's a very simple response to a more complicated question. But find the issues you care about and find the right way to get involved. And let's use our numbers to help influence outcomes.
Yes.
That's what I would say.
Okay, last question.
And I would say, sorry, if I can, Dاليا, in a spirit of service.
Yes.
because it is about driving the
That's great.
service. Right?
Yes. Yeah.
It is about, there's a lot of hurt in this country. There's a lot of poverty in this country. There's a lack of opportunity
Mhm.
in this country. And so for the next generation of Copts, whether they are coming from abroad or they are being, sons and daughters of those who are already raised here,
Mm.
how are we creating more opportunity?
Yeah.
And if we create more opportunity in our communities, I guarantee you it'll create more opportunity in other communities. And so I say get involved in a spirit of service. If you are seeking power or fame or influence, you will flame out.
Yes.
This is really dedicate yourself to, again, the Coptic foundation of service.
So last question, do you have an advice for the parents, how they can tell their kids or give them the freedom to learn stuff? Because as an Arab Egyptian parents, we always we don't want our kids to go here and
Yeah.
do this, and no, we have our rules, we have our traditional. So as a parents, do you have an advice for the parents too?
Well, that's a very hard one.
Yeah.
Because I think if you ask my parents, they would tell you I ignored their advice to my own detriment. That being older now, I know that I should have listened to my parents so much more. I think the advice I would give to parents is something I try to live by is the world is changing. And if you try to parent the same way you were parented,
Mhm.
you may lead to sort of closed off conversations with your children and inflexibility.
Correct.
I think parents need to understand and really immerse themselves in what is the kid experiencing at school, what is his or her experience, what are they being exposed to. And the one thing I would say to every Coptic parent
Yes.
is have the hard conversations with your kids.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The world is having conversations today about very difficult issues.
Yes.
Okay. Whether it be the humanitarian crisis in Gaza,
Mm.
whether it be the issue of a woman's right to choose in this country,
Yeah.
the issues of freedoms for the LGBT, whatever the issues are,
Yes.
those are issues that we need to be having those conversations
Yes.
in our own households. Before we're all worried about what's happening in our schools,
Exactly.
we'll have the conversation in your home.
Mhm. ما نقولش عيب بقى وخايفين.
You have to have it.
Yeah.
The kids are going to have the conversation. It's a question of whether you're going to have it with an openness to the conversation in a way that they're going to understand, appreciating what they're going through at school,
Mhm.
or the conversation with your child is happening from a TV screen or
Exactly.
TikTok
Right.
or in their schools. And it's something that I have lived by. I know the issues, obviously, because of public policy service,
Mhm.
and I have tried to have these conversations at an age-appropriate time with my children so that they are hearing my point of view, informed by my culture and my faith, but an understanding that the times from when I was a young boy to when they are a young boy is different.
Different.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Senator. Senator Helmy, thank you so much for sharing your journey with us today. Your story is a source of pride and inspiration, not just for the Coptic Egyptian community, but for all those who believe in making difference through dedication and service. Thank you again for your time, and it was a pleasure and an honor to be with you today.
This was my deep honor, and thank you so much for having me on.
Thank you, Senator.
Thank you.
Thank you. بشكركم أعزائي المشاهدين، وأكيد حلقة كلنا فرحانين بيها، وكلنا بنشكر سيناتور حلمي على وقته وإن هو ادانا النصايح المهمة دي. يا ريت كلنا نسمع الحلقة ونتكلم مع أولادنا ونفتح مواضيع زي ما قال السيناتور، بنقول إن إحنا ما ينفعش نفتحها، لازم نبص لأولادنا. وأكيد عندنا أمثلة رائعة زي سيناتور حلمي ممكن ولادنا يوصلوا لها لو إحنا ساعدناهم وشجعناهم ان هم في بلد الحريه وان هم يتعبوا عشان يوصلوا للي هم عايزينه. شكرا ليكم، وانتظرونا في حلقه جديده من برنامج مصدر ثقه.
المسيح هو الطريق الوحيد للسماء.
فلازم أنا أتأكد إن الأساس موجود اللي هو شخص يسوع المسيح. لما بقف علشان أصلي أنا ليس لي استحقاق، لكن أنا لي ثقة بالدخول إلى الأقداس بدم يسوع.
طوبى لصانع السلام لأنهم أبناء الله يدعون.
ربنا ممكن قوي يفتح عيني على أمجاد السماء، أمجاد الأبدية.
طب ليه ما كانش قادر يغفر لآدم خطيته؟ يقول له مغفورة ليك خطاياك من غير الفداء.